Unprecedented. Well, that's a word we don't normally hear in the world of motorsports. Or should we talk about a controversy, like Prince sang? Nah, we'll get to all that. But at the start of the 2024 NASCAR season, that's exactly what we witnessed, an unprecedented event. Thanks for tuning in today for another new and exciting episode from Stock Car Facts, which we try to post every Tuesday at about noon, or you can watch some of our previous episodes. Here at Stock Car Facts, we would really love to recreate the race day sights, smells, and sounds that we first experienced for ourselves in 1974 at Michigan International Speedway. But unfortunately, that's not possible here. However, we can do the next best thing in that we can share with you what happened at these events, and we can talk to those people who created those memories. Or, those facts. So we'd appreciate it if you sit back and relax and enjoy this latest episode today of Stock Car Facts with me, your host, Kevin Schwarzy. Oh, and by the way, later, you'll have a chance to comment on this content. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button as well as the follow bell to be notified of brand new shows right here. And we'd appreciate it if you'd share this on all of your social media platforms. Thank you. Unprecedented, of course, means never happened before. I mean, come on, let's face it. When's the last time you saw a race run the day before it was scheduled? When I was the ARCA Truck Series PR guy, we had to follow strict guidelines on when to stage our races, even down to starting times. If you print a ticket or an entry blank or whatever, and you put on that ticket or that literature, for example, the race starts at 3 p.m., well, it better start at 3 p.m. And why is that, you ask? Simple. False advertising. Now, I've been following the sport intently for almost 50 years now, and I can't recall the last time that I saw a lawsuit or some kind of legal action over a race not starting on time and someone took it to court. I mean, let's face it, this ain't the ELO concert here in Detroit, or even Milli Vanilli for that matter. But fans would have a point. They travel all this distance, they make preparations, they spend all that money to get there and find out, hey, wait a minute, you're running the race the day before, or you're running the race an hour early? I didn't even see the start? In the legal field, we call that precedent. This, I don't want to say dangerous, but this is a precarious precedent that is being set. However, in NASCAR's case, at the Coliseum, what were they going to do? It was quite clear that rain and heavy amounts of it were going to hit the left coast. And it was proven right that heavy storms, massive amounts of flooding, and other, natural disasters happened after NASCAR left. Then when teams arrived at Daytona, they were faced with the same situation. Inclement weather being broadcast, and it was quite evident that it was going to be heavy amounts of precipitation. On Thursday, the duels had already been run, and Friday, the scheduled truck race was about to happen. But Saturday and Sunday, the forecast was bleak. Plans were already in the works to run all three races, ARCA, the Daytona 500, and Xfinity on Monday, but even then it showed rain wouldn't stop until noon. Now, ARCA teams, which are on a limited budget, were crying loudly for the race to be run Friday after the truck race. At first, the networks balked on Friday, but then when they realized that the rain would continue into midday Monday, they said, we're not staying until Tuesday if the ARCA race goes then. So they finally agreed, Friday it is. Now here's the other dilemma. What do you do? How do you balance this out? You have fans that are coming, even an ARCA race, from around the country. But you also have race teams. You have sponsors. You have OEM representatives. You have TV. You have officials that are coming in from around the country. There is a famous saying, well, it's only a game or it's only a sport. And that's not true. That's a bit sanctimonious to me because this is how people make their living. This is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. And if you didn't have this quote-unquote sport, this quote-unquote game, what are people doing for a living? You go back to North Carolina, and there's some people that make good money and can support their families, send their kids to college, go on nice vacations, what have you. So it's not just a sport. And now you have the fans. They work just as hard for their money, and they come from great distances as well. So what do? Sure, NASCAR's made some dumb decisions. I sometimes joke around and call it the Death by 1,000 Cuts tour. But the sanctioning body has made more decisions right than they have wrong. And considering all of the circumstances, the mitigating factors, the weather, etc., I feel that NASCAR and ARCA and TV were 100% correct in making these two tough decisions in these last couple weeks. Because even look at it from this standpoint. Say a fan is coming in to see the race on Saturday. They run the race on Friday. The race rains out on Saturday. The fan can only stay Saturday. Well, they're not seeing the race either way. So either way, they're out their money. But until stock car racing finds a way to have events indoors to where weather won't affect it, this is the chance that fans take, and this is the risk they accept. And it's clearly printed on their literature. Back to the legality stage of all these things. Clearly, the lawyers have got involved and have changed the wording on things on websites and tickets and what have you. Speaking of lawyers, NASCAR better be thankful that there's been some other distractions in the news world in the last couple weeks. NASCAR will meet with the team councils periodically, but they will not meet with groups of owners at one time. Their policy has always been meet with a single owner at a time at their discretion. The RTA, or Race Team Alliance, has hired antitrust lawyers. And you may ask why. Because the sanctioning body and the Race Team Alliance are currently negotiating for bigger race purses. Now that's not just saber rattling by the RTA. That's an actual salvo fired across the bow of NASCAR. Don't think it's such a big deal? Well, ask John Rockefeller of Standard Oil at the time, or Ma Bell, what they thought when their monopolies got broke up. NASCAR successfully fought off many challenges of being a monopoly, and I think this is going to be the biggest news story of the year to see how this goes. But I guess, what do you think? What's the biggest news story so far of 2024? And what do you think is going to be from what we've heard thus far? Let us know in the comments section. If you wouldn't mind, hit that like button and please share this video. We appreciate it.